All right, all right, all right. Hey, everybody, it's your old buddy the Dreamer back. Another awesome, epic episode of Hanging with the Dreamer. Quick, before I bring my guest who's waiting so patiently in the green room, before I bring my guest out, a little quick show announcement. January 21st, 2 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Yes, it's confirmed, it's lined up, and it's going to happen. Rage Breed Records and the Dreamer's Life proudly present the Electric Circus from Hell. We have some awesome sponsors on. There's going to be band performances featuring the music of Incognito Theory and straight out of Stuttgart, Germany, Rage Breed's very own Rough and Rude. This is going to be fantastic. It's a charity fundraiser, folks. So mark it down on your calendars. I'm going to have a giveaway. It's going to be awesome. So for today, I am privileged and I am humbled and I am honored to be joined by Bill S. from the Creation Station up in Canada, Creation Station on Facebook. So let's all love this show. Let's all share this show. And let's all help somebody. Let's influence a negative situation and let's turn things into a positive situation and inspire those who need to be inspired. So let's bring our guest out, Mr. Bill S.
How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I am wonderful. It's a beautiful day.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me on board here. So appreciate it.
It's believe me, the honor's all mine. Thank you. Thank you so very much for giving me your valuable time today.
That's not a problem whatsoever.
So let's just jump right into it. Creation Station. What I have is the website. Yeah. Well, Creation Station offers television, video production, touring, mentoring, media distribution services. Proud supporters of independent music. That's awesome, 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 Bill.
Thank you. So I can give you a brief rundown of how it works and basically how it benefits musicians, if you like. Yeah.
Sure, that would be awesome. That was going to be one of my questions. Beautiful.
I was hoping it was going to be one of your first ones, actually, so I was going to beat you to the punch there. Anyways, so what we do is we request from musicians their MP3s, their YouTube links, whatever they got, and they send it to us via email. And there's no genre, there's no restrictions. The only thing we ask is that it is actually your own content, or you represent the artist and have the rights to be distributed accordingly. What happens from there is we take the content that's sent to us, we have a listen to it, and upload it onto our radio station there, which you can see on the website at the top left-hand corner there. Right now shows Heavy Horses by Jethro Tull that's being played. We do have mainstream music on there, but we try to limit that and feature artists as much as we can. There are times within the schedule where we have nothing but independent artists playing, but other times it could be mainstream artists playing alongside the independent artists on the radio.
Yeah. Yes.
For those who actually send us YouTube links, we do the same thing. We convert the video into audio, and we add it to our general rotation. And but what we also do with the video itself is we review it to consider it for video of the week. Which, if you scroll up there and move over one or two tabs, you'll see that we have 3 videos which get renewed every week on the video section there. Yeah, that's the one. So what happens is we pick 3 videos per week, and again, there's no specific genre. It's all artist created content, so it can be pretty much anything. It can be a pre-recording of a live show. It can be the artist's rendition of how they interpret the song, etc. It can be whatever they want. The only thing that I try to avoid having on for a video of the week is those songs that basically show nothing but the album cover throughout the entire 4 minutes of the video, because it is video, and as a result, to be able to have something in there showing the content, whether it be a live show, whether it be some acting out, or even just the lyrics playing along as you go along. But anyways, we take those videos that are sent to us, and we choose 3 per week to become video of the week.
Mhm.
And from there, what we do is we actually look at it one step further and consider it for our television series called Prairie Mountain Artist Showcase, which is currently seen on 2 different television stations in Manitoba, Canada. And we're looking to expand that into other provinces and possibly even the States, depending on depending on the stations, whether or not they want us on board. Yeah. So on the video tab, if you scroll down to the bottom there, you'll see one tab there that says Creation Station Presents, and those are 2 of those videos that are on there right now are our feature show, Prairie Mountain Artist Showcase, and the 3rd video is actually a fundraiser that we did last year. So in a nutshell, that's basically how that works. Is you submit content to us, you get radio airplay, you get social media exposure, and you get television airplay.
Would you like me to play the video?
You're more than welcome to do whatever you like there. So.
Oh, whoops.
I will warn you that this video is a half-hour long.
It's really a big deal. This is my
That's
first
very,
single
very,
that I
very,
released
very
to
impressive.
Canadian country music radio. It's on 116 stations across Canada, and now I get to do it in my hometown for all of you. What do you think about that? So you're going to want to request on your local radio station, Shaylin's The Drink, and it sounds just like this.
Shaylin is an artist from Ontario, and she's submitted to us a few country songs to this point. And the first video, The Drink, has become one of her actually most successful songs, I believe, to this point. She's actually won awards for it, and has actually done a lot of success with it. Great artist.
Well, I see my friend is a featured artist of the month. Yeah.
State of mind, yes. Once a month we do a featured artist a month, and it was just something that was brought up last month, and I have to humbly admit that I have not had time to update it for the month of November, so John gets an extended stay on this page.
Thank you.
Lucky him. So anyways, yes, it's a featured artist of the month, and again, we expose that on all our social media, and basically provide all the information we can about the artists as to where they can get their material, their merchandise, where they can listen to their tunes outside of our radio station, all that kind of stuff, and actually, you know, make them known to anybody who checks out our pages. Yeah. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know that John really speaks highly of the Creation Station and really appreciates everything that you do for him and for his band. And I want to thank you because they're a great bunch of guys. John is a very important member of my family here at Dreamland Studios, and it means a lot. It means a lot to me, and I know it means double to him. You know, thank you,
John, I find John to be a very passionate individual when it comes to music and the performing arts, and just to be able to know him as an individual and even be bold enough to consider him as a friend is an honor to me. I think the guy is a class act all the way through.
It really is.
Friend of John's is a friend of mine, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, likewise. Yeah, likewise, for sure. You're a remarkable creator. Everything that you're trying to do with the Creation Station is absolutely wonderful. And I'll tell you, yeah, I know I know the Dreamer's Life has room for Creation Station at Dreamland Studios.
Sounds good. We'll definitely have to talk about that in the future.
You know, I appreciate you. I really appreciate you, and I value your time, and I value your experience, and I thank you for being here. I really do.
It's my pleasure. So, yeah.
You'll have to excuse the pausing. I was just thinking about the music facility.
Yes, the music complex.
The music complex
that
you are working on.
That is where the whole vision of Creation Station actually started. I came across pretty much a deal I couldn't pass up with in the town of Minnedosa. And for those who aren't familiar with Minnedosa, it is a heavily music influenced town. It only consists of about 2,500 people, but if you do a search on an event called Rock in the Fields, they have some great bands that come out there. This year, the last 2 years have been canceled due to pandemic restrictions. But next year, they said is a go, and they've got bands like Our Lady Peace, Foghat, all sorts of big name bands in this thing. And
Foghat? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, if you do a Google search on Rock in the Fields Minnedosa 2022, there are some really big names out there. Chilliwack is another one that is a band that's going to be playing there apparently. So you got some retro bands in there, but you've also got some newer artists like Our Lady Peace. I believe Theory was also in there 1 year, a few years ago. But regardless, if you check them out, they'll be you wouldn't be disappointed. So, anyways, like I was saying, I got a really good deal on the land, and it was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And one of the stipulations was, well, you have to, it's business land. Town basically said you have to come up with an idea as to why you want this land. And I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. So I basically proposed to them a building that would be a rehearsal studio, rehearsal rooms, recording studio. There'd be classrooms, looking at indoor and outdoor performance venues, a swag shop for artists to be able to have their swag for sale in someplace other than the venue that they're playing at. And just try to make it all a one-stop shop for musicians and artists. Because I was also looking at putting an art gallery in there, and just the more I developed it, it was just like, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and just it just kept growing and growing and growing, and it was like, God. So it's the vision for it is to be a one-stop shop, and with that, once the town read the proposal, they accepted it immediately, and it's been one of those things where I've been working to break ground on the project, hopefully in the spring, and can't tell you how excited I am to actually get this close to it, and it's going to be a great place as far as I'm concerned. So,
can you share exactly how many acres you have to work with?
Well, the initial project was on a 2-acre lot out in the industrial area, and it was recently discovered by the town, actually, that it didn't meet the zoning requirements. So we've actually been in conversations about changing that, and I don't want to go into too much details on it at this point, but they basically proposed me a different location, which ends up being probably a better location than where I was actually anticipating, and as a result, it's got me fired up even more to get this project off and running. So it's really looking forward to it. So, but until all the paperwork is signed, all the T's are crossed, and all the I's are dotted, and commas are in the proper places, that's when I'll be making the announcement. But it'll probably be the announcement of we're going to be here and we're breaking ground on this day. And so at this point, it's big news, and I wish I could share it with you, but I'm kind of hesitant to right now. So
not yet.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Trust me. People are asking me all the time about January 21st. I mean, ever since I announced it on Rage Free TV,
I've heard a little bit about that, and I'm really excited for you. That is going to be a big deal. Yeah, I'm definitely looking to to make a donation to it, of course, but also to take part in the festivities and enjoy it. So
please take part. This is from one creator to another. This is it's just one of those things that will eventually take a life of its own, and it's going to be out of my control. I could just do my part, do my part and play the part or what have you, but I mean, this is going to be really, I think this is really going to be something much like your music complex. I think this is going to be something.
Oh, I hope it will be for you. I really do, because just from the sounds of it, it sounds like it's going to be a big event with a lot of attention, and it's going to be a successful event all around, I'd say.
Oh, thank
you. I wish you the best of luck on that. I know
it's a tough one, but if I could, it's just like perhaps your music complex, one of those things that once you get the ball rolling and you're thinking, what am I doing? And then you realize this gotta happen.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. Like walking into the project in the beginning, it was, one of those things where it's like I really do not want to do this myself. So I sought out some partners, and unfortunately, for one reason or another, the partnerships just didn't work out. So by January of this year, I was back to being on my own on it, and it's like, okay, well, I've planned it out this far, so I got to go the rest of the way with it. I can't just turn around and say, "No, no, now's not the time." It is the time, and it there is a lot of attention locally on this one, both in the town of Minnedosa as well as in the region. Um, People are asking me what the status of it is and when it's going to get built, and there's people are asking if they can help, or what they can do to keep in touch with it. My answer to them is just keep an eye on the website, and we'll the social media pages will update as we have the news available. So at this point, we're just hoping to break ground in the spring. So
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. So, what do you think? It will definitely be in the papers, the newspapers, I would imagine.
oh, it's already been in the papers. If you
I'm
do a Google
awesome.
search on uh, Minnedosa Creation Station. You'll find that we've been in the Brandon Sun, we've been in the Neepawa Banner, we've been in the Minnedosa Tribune. We've had multiple write-ups, and it's not just on myself as an individual or Creation Station as a whole. There's stories about the DJs that I've brought on board to help with the radio station. I've given DJs their own radio shows, and especially during the pandemic when they're at home and they got nothing better to do and they can't go out, and those kind of things. um, it it made an impact on some of their lives, and it was a positive one. And
That's
you know,
great.
that's what it's all about. Like, for some people it's all about the fame and fortune and everything else like that. For me, it's more along the lines of building a community, so to speak. You know, I don't want to, you know, bring the artist in and charge them to record, charge them to mix and master and
Yeah.
do all this stuff. I would much rather actually bring them in and teach them how to record, how to mix, how to master. I may not be a master myself on all those things, but by bringing in like-minded people with that kind of experience, whether it be booking shows or recording, or you know, basic, all the aspects of what it takes to keep a band together and keep it growing, keep it going, keep it growing. That's what I want to do, and what that'll do in turn is it will create a like-minded community of individuals that can actually work together to, okay, fine, I'll help you with your project if you help me with mine, and we'll both succeed out of it. And to me, that's much more fulfilling than just the fame and fortune, or being able to book artists for $80 an hour, $100 an hour, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So
Well, see, now, fame and fortune is, yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, really, unless you're a rare breed of artists, fame is fleeting and fortune can be spent in a day. So, and gone and not replaced. So, to actually help, to actually truly have a heart for helping, that's going to bring riches that will constantly come. And I mean, it's much like my show, you know. Um, I've been very fortunate for the last year and 3/4. Um, I've been interviewed a lot of people, and I'm very fortunate to have been featured in the High Voltage Video Magazine on Facebook
very cool.
6 months in a row.
Nice.
And that's an accomplishment for me, because when I started out, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't have any idea, and now I have over 180 shows.
Exactly. And for
Yeah.
a lot of people, that's where it comes from. Um, you know, it's when I was a kid, as a teenager, my dad asked me one day. He says, "What exactly you want to be when you grow up?" And I was like, "Well, I want to be a rock star." Bang, right? Not even a question on that. And he turned around and he says, like 2% of musicians actually make it. So if you're not part of that 2%, what's your backup plan, right? So for me, it made me stop and think about, okay, so how much do I really know about the music industry? And at the age of 14, 15, chances are a lot of individuals were in my shoes where I knew like nothing. I knew 5 chords on a guitar, and I determined I was going to be a rock star. And, for the record, I ended up playing bass. But
It's all right.
that was in the beginning, and so okay, fine. I did end up with that backup career, and that's the career I ended up having for 20 odd years. And all the bands that I played in over those years, they all combined built a knowledge base for me that that's what's bringing together. I've performed in Canada and the US. I've performed with musicians who have played with rock stars. I've performed with musicians who have played overseas, on cruises, on like every musician has their background, and very rarely are they all the same tales to tell. So to be able to take that from that wealth of knowledge and be able to harness it and put it into Creation Station is, to me, it's what it's all about. So
that's one of the things that attracted me to Creation Station is one day a week is all I'm able to give, but one day a week, I help a company called Rage Breed in England, and because it's not a paid thing, I don't get paid, and everybody around me can't understand that, because the first word out of everybody's mouth is money, money, money. But what it's inner thing. My years, well, I know something from my life is I want to help as many people as I can and bring my love for music to the masses, and hopefully help somebody, inspire somebody to be the best possible person they could be. And that's what I want to be remembered for. That's why I started my show.
Yeah.
And that's why I started Dreamer's Life. It's not about money, although, yeah, I hope someday to be sponsored. But in the meantime, it really is all about the passion and the love that I have for being able to create something and share it, and watch the looks on people's faces when they watch a show of mine, or when they watch a video I created, or when they, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like in the beginning, like you said, when you started the Dreamland Studios and got into your podcast and did all that stuff, in the beginning, you didn't know nearly as much as you do now. And you probably didn't have the connections that you do now. It's all part of growth. You get to learn, you get to connect, and you get to network, and you get to the point to where, Dreamland Studios, awesome place. I know where that is. And, I hope to do the same thing with Creation Station, where I can take my wealth, my knowledge, all that stuff and put it into the complex so that other people can turn around and say, Creation Station, I know where that is. And, what that'll do is, I may not have the $1 million studio that you can find in the big cities like Los Angeles, New York, and all that others. But if I can build a place where people can take their knowledge and build that $1 million studio down the road, then I've done my job. That's exactly what it's intended to do. If my DJs move on to a paying gig, they've done their job and I've done mine. That's great. In the meantime, I look for volunteers. It doesn't matter what kind of experience it is whatsoever. And I help them put together their show with as much or as little help as they need, whether it be, I don't even know what mic to use, what program to use, this and that, and everything else like that. I give them the most cheapest, effective process I can think of so that they can actually put something together and put it out there. And then if they get followers, if they get, a great radio show where they're bringing in hundreds of people every week, then, it's not going to be long before they're going to get picked up by someone else who can offer them more. And then from there, they can continue their wealth, their knowledge, and everything else and grow with what they've got.
So, very well said. So, how long is creation? Excuse me. How long has Creation Station been around?
I had to stop and think about that as to when it actually came to life, and it actually we should have celebrated our 1-year anniversary last month.
Okay.
It took me a little bit, but I had to dig through some emails and such, and it was like, oh man, we missed our birthday.
Well, yeah.
These days at my age, I try to avoid my birthday, so it's all fire and burn.
No, so what's the inspiration behind starting Creation Station? Just what you shared with trying to help others move on to bigger and better things?
Well, there's an underlying story behind this as well. I'm diabetic, and when just before the COVID pandemic came around, I was actually in the hospital for a couple weeks. Actually, it was, and when I came out, I actually noticed that I was starting to lose mobility in my hands, right? And as a bass player, that's not a very good thing. So now, as it is today, I've actually got numbness in my my forefinger and my thumb, which is, of course, is the slap and pick fingers, right? So now it's gotten to the point where it's really affected my playing ability, and I've sang vocals for various bands, but I never considered myself very good. I've got a couple tracks on the radio station you could sit back and laugh at once you hear them if you get them on rotation. But I've pretty much come to a point now where I've accepted that my playing days are done and performing days are done, and for that part of my career is over. But music has been such a strong part of my life since I was as early as I can remember, really, that it made me stop and think, like my dad said to me when I was a kid, what's the backup plan? And thankfully, my backup plan back then was I was an accountant. So for 20 plus years, I've been an accountant, and I've learned business tactics and management skills and all that other stuff. And it seemed to be a natural progression for me to, okay, so you've done your time as the player.
Mhm.
Now it's time to move into the management position. Same way that hockey players and football players do the same thing, where they transition into an office role within the organization.
Yeah.
So to me, that was just the natural progression, where it's something that I can still stay in the music, but I don't have to, for lack of better words, pity over the fact of, my hands aren't the way they used to be. Will I ever get to that point again? I'm damn sure going to try. It's not a matter that I've given up on it, but it's a matter of, this is the reality. So what's the backup plan? And here we are now.
Well, that's a wonderful thing. And really, that everything that you were just kind enough to share, thank you very much for that, because that's what this show's all about, is being able to put information out there, conversations out there, music out there that somebody else is going to hear, and hopefully sit back and look at their own lives and go, "Whoa, that makes sense," and have a come to Jesus moment, have a self realization moment.
There's, with any situation you face, you can look at it two ways. You can get depressed about it, you can let it consume you, or you can act on it and decide that I'm not going to let this situation affect me. It doesn't matter. Like, okay, I've lost some mobility. I'm still able to play very simple tunes compared to what I was used to playing. But because of that, it's not putting me into a depression or a funk or whatever the case is. It's a matter of, accept it, deal with it, move on. And that's the way I've always been. So
that's great. That's great. And it's really important. It's really important. So you were kind enough to share that your music facility is like the one of the big pictures that you have for Creation Station, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
And have you had a dream yet? Have you seen like a vision, a creative vision that's telling you that given the right opportunity, given the right time, Creation Station could actually branch off into other parts of the world?
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely something that not only I have seen, but has also been mentioned to me by other people. Where it's like, once you get that project running in Minnedosa, you should look at doing a project here in Neepawa, and there could be that kind of scenario, or Brandon, or even Winnipeg, or dare I say, even test the waters in Los Angeles, and deal with the big dogs, like. So, but no, there is opportunity for growth on it. I don't expect everybody to come to the one location. It's going to be, my vision on it is it's huge. There will be people from as far out as 50 kilometers outside of the town, 31.25 miles, that is 50 kilometers. So, but there will be people from miles around wanting to come check it out, and for some of them it just will not be feasible. The high school kids that don't have a driver's license, the older folks who don't really want to drive that kind of range. So to be able to solidify the one location and then start looking for opportunities for a second location, that's a natural progression of business. If you're not growing, you're dying. So it's a goal where you can't be content with where you are, but at the same time you got to know where your limits are and not try to expand too fast. You spread yourself out too thin, you're going to be walking on thin ice, and it's going to hurt. So right now, that's my main focus, is just getting the one complex up. I've got a lot of other things going on with the website, between the radio show, between the TV show, between the blog, between the featured artists, between all that stuff. If I go any further on this, then I'm going to definitely hit that thin ice portion, and that's not something I want to do at this point. So, one step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time, one day at a time, literally one breath at a time, and just I mean, it sounds so quirky and fundamental or what have you, but it's the truth, and when you have something like Creation Station, that's a vision that you're going to achieve. It's only a matter of time. It, I mean, went through your website, and that that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. I I hope. Well, I know. I can honestly say without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, that I know that it's only a matter of time before Creation Station is massive.
Oh,
and and it's such an awesome kind thing that you're doing. It can't help but be massive when you're doing things true from your heart. And when you're doing things true from your heart, you're staying true to yourself, and you're staying true to the people, to the environment, the ecostructure around you. Nothing but good things are going to happen when
yeah.
put
I
good out.
I know it's going to be huge, and the biggest hurdle we're having right now is for people to catch on to how big of an idea this actually is. The station itself is now got uh, content from independent artists that I've received music from at last count was 27 different countries.
Mm,
We've been in operation for 1 year and has reached out to 27 countries
that
minimum.
that was going to be my next question.
So with that, the next step was logically, because I was getting so many YouTube videos, was to create the television series, Prairie Mountain Artist Showcase. So now with that, that is being reached out, receiving content from multiple countries and airing it right now in Manitoba with hopes of across Canada, hopes of maybe a few stations in the US. So there's the give and take here where they're giving me the content and I'm giving them back the exposure. Is it enough for some people? Yes. For some people, not quite. Where do you draw the line? Do you still entertain those artists who, well, I want to be paid for this. I want my royalties. I want this. Okay. Number one, royalties. We are a member of SOCAN, and we do have the right to play whatever content we want. And as a result, if you are a member of SOCAN, if you're a member of ASCAP or any of those groups, you will be paid your royalties from us. So it's not one of those things where, if you're expecting us to pay for your material to air it so that you can get the exposure, that's not fair, right? At the same time, if I was to take that exposure and charge you for it, that's not fair.
Yeah.
So part of it is, knowing where the balance is on this. And right now, I'd say, I'm just counting in my head, roughly 350 artists that I've been in touch with understand that concept. So
That's phenomenal. That's epic. That really is. That really is. Well, what would you say? What would you say, Bill? What would you say to somebody? What would be your advice to somebody who wants to try to reach for the stars, that wants to try to have a half baked dream in their head, and they're like, oh, this has got to be better than what I'm doing now. What would be your advice?
Yeah. No, go ahead. I would say go ahead and reach for those stars, but keep your feet on the ground. You know, like I said before, have a backup plan because you're shooting for a 2% chance, and nowadays it's even less than that. And you know, at the same time, while you're reaching, take a look around at the opportunities that are around you. You know, whether it be a podcast with the Dreamer, whether it be a feature on Creation Station, whether it be a chance to work with any of the other studios or anything else like that. Like, go ahead and look at your options. But don't spread yourself too thin on that. Whether it be spread yourself too thin on the opportunities where you just take any little piece of exposure that you can get, or whether it be financially where this album's going to cost you $2,000 to make. Is it really worth it at this time to make it? You've got 150 followers on your Facebook page and you feel that you're ready to do that kind of an investment, then you better be ready to step up to the next step, which is promoting it and actually getting your $2,000 back in sales. And you're not going to get it on 150 Facebook fans. So there is the realism of it all, but at the same time, don't let it distract you from what you want. You want that rock star dream, go ahead and chase it. You see an opportunity that you don't think anybody else has ever done in the world, try it. It's one of those things where it may fail, but it may also succeed. If it fails, be ready for it. That's where you keep your feet on the ground and say, okay, that didn't work. I'm out a few $100 out of it, or whatever the case is. I invested so much time and effort into it. Okay, was it worth it? Yeah, I'd say it is. If I had to turn around and shut down Creation Station today because there was just no ability to continue any further and I had to shut everything down, I can safely say that I gave it my shot and I gave it everything I had, but at the same time, I kept myself in a position where I had a backup plan. And if it ends up where I take the building to the next level and all of a sudden I'm in a position where I never have to work again, because let's face it, dealing with music day and night, that's not really a job for me. So, but if I get to that point where I don't have to work again, then I took a shot and I made it work. And that's all that matters to me. But so far, the shots that I've taken have made Creation Station what it is today, and I'm proud of it. And I will be proud to stand along any musician, any producer, any manager, anything, any of those guys that stand beside me as I stand beside them, and be able to turn around, look at each other and say, we've done this. So
that's epic. See that right there? That's wonderful. Actually, that's really, really nice of you to say that. And that's why Creation Station is going to blow up. I could feel it. I could feel it. I had got my hair standing up. I could feel it. It's gonna be big, and it's because of that. It's going to be because of your honesty. It's going to be because of your pleasantry. It's going to be because of your professionalism. It's going to be because of your vision. It's going to be because of your passion. And it's going to be because of your dedication to your own creative vision and your own well-being. Watch what happens. I'm convinced of it now.
Oh.
I'm totally convinced of it now.
I do have a habit of being a little too blunt sometimes, and it gets taken off as insulting or condescending or just being a jerk on the situation. But I like to be a realist, and
Yeah,
if I turn around and say to somebody, this is not the time for you to move to that level, it's because I can see that you need to have a few steps along the way. Have been some people in the music industry, and that's not just musicians. There's also been producers and managers or whatever, where they have this global vision, but they're not even recognized locally. And you know, that could be one of the things where they need to adjust things. But if you're going to grow your vision your way, that's great. You go ahead and grow it. But if you're running into roadblocks and you can't figure out why, and I'm turning around and saying, have you looked at this, and shown you a totally different direction, if you're not going to look into it, then I don't know what to tell you. But if you're going to take the time to listen, to react, then I'm willing to help you out as much as I possibly can to get you to where you want to go. And just to be able to sit back and see that level, climb that to the next level or whatever. That's awesome. That's what I love to see. Everybody has seen those athletes where they started out in college and growing into the big leagues and ended up becoming a superstar, making millions of dollars and everything else like that. That's because they had the effort and they had the guidance and they had everything they needed to get to that next level.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. The guidance.
Yeah. And that high school band needs to have that same thing, where they need to be able to have somebody who can look over contracts that management's offering and determine whether or not they're getting ripped off somewhere along the way, or being able to help them book a show or even a tour if they have the means for it. Being able to put everything together to help them get to the next level. They're not going to do it on their own. The band's job is to make the music and make it so that people like it. But people are not going to like it if they don't know about it. People are not going to know about it if they're not getting promoted. People are not going to promote something that doesn't get recorded. It all takes steps, and it takes a team of effort. And if one band can safely say that they've done it all by themselves, that's great that you've done it all by yourself. But what if you had a team with you? How much further do you think you could have gone? Like I said, it's a realist attitude.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
There's always that trust factor like we all experience. And there's always that what if. I'll tell you, in the words of my late great stepfather, Warren Turner, God rest his soul, he always told me, he said, Will, he goes, Dreamer, goes, if I listen to all the times that I refused when I was younger to listen to the word if indicates that you're not sure, you're unsure, you're afraid, you don't want to move forward. He goes, there is no if. That if you're going to do something, then don't think about if, because that's just going to take all the wind out of your sails, and it's just going to hurt, and it's a sad thing that just those two letters just do irreplaceable damage to somebody's goals.
Yep.
Yet at the same time,
I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I always stick to the words that Yoda said: do or do not. There is no try. You're either going to do it or you're not.
Yeah. So absolutely. So what would you say is, if you had your choice to be able, okay, you achieve your music complex, you are able to establish locations all over the globe. What would possibly be next?
The beauty thing about music nowadays is that there is so much to learn and so much that you're able to do that it's going to be a never-ending learning thing. Like whether it be learning the digital side of music, or whether it be, moving into a, virtual concerts, or like the way everything is set up now is it's ever expanding, and the only way that you're going to be able to catch on to it is to hop on and take it for a ride. And from there, that avenue will lead you into a different avenue, and it's going to be an ever long journey. If this is something where it continues to grow from one to the next, and creation station is known worldwide and all that other stuff happens, I can safely say that I would not be surprised if my grandkids, if it was inherited from generation to generation to generation, I wouldn't be surprised to see even my great grandkids still learning different aspects of it that I never even touched or even thought of, because there's
That's
just
awesome.
so much of it. And that's one thing you cannot do to yourself, is put limits on yourself.
That's it right there. That's it right there. Don't put limits on yourself. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. And it's true. It's
It is.
very true.
It is, because once you put limits on yourself, you're done.
Don't do that.
That's where it's going to go. If I turned around and said I'm going to live to 70 years old, then don't expect me for 71.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not saying that. I am saying I will continue on as far as this journey will take me. And that's exactly where it is with the business. That's exactly where it is with the music. And that's the way it should be.
So what inspired? Absolutely. So what inspired you, Bill, to call your company Creation Station?
Honestly,
I
just like the name of it. It's just the way it rolls off the tongue. I could turn around and spend days trying to think of a catchy title or whatever, but the whole idea of it was, initially the land was right by railway tracks, and it, to be able to, the initial building, I might still have pictures of it online somewhere, almost looks like a train station kind of setting. So just the idea of it being Creation Station with a train theme to it was kind of an add bonus to it. But the idea is, for creation, it doesn't matter whether it's performing arts, visual arts, or interpretive arts, or any other kind of arts. It's a method of creating, and it's what I wanted to support and be able to bring to the idea of the music complex, and be able to try to house as much of it as I possibly could, whether it would be for the artist that in the band, or whether it be for the painter that wants to have an art gallery, or if it's just the hobbyist who makes ceramic figurines or whatever and just needs a place to be able to sell them, to be able to support them in any way possibly. That was the initial goal behind it, and that's how the name of it really came to be. Is it doesn't limit itself with one particular type of arts.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So if you could tell the world that, if the world hadn't seen yet, where can the world go to check out everything Creation Station?
Right now, the best place to go to is the website itself at www.creation-station.ca. failing to do that because it's not the roll off your tongue kind of website that others dream of, you could simply look for Creation Station Minnedosa and look for our social media pages. Right now we do have Facebook. That's the most. That's where most of the traffic and communication we use is right now. We also have LinkedIn, and we also have Instagram, and I think Twitter as well. But with that, we are looking to grow into other social media platforms and take over the world by storm.
I'm all for it. Why not?
As am I.
Why not? Why not? Why not? I mean,
no limits.
Yeah, look at what's going on in the world right now. I mean, there's got to be some positive somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So create your own.
Exactly.
Create your own positive vibe. And I'm real big on energy and vibes, and it's very important.
It is
very, very important. Well, before we end, and I ask this of all of my guests, do you have any questions for me?
When's the next time I get to see your show?
Every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Downloads to YouTube. And I will post on my Facebook page. As a matter of fact, I will post on my Facebook page in the morning. I will put this conversation, I will put this interview up on the like page for Hanging with the Dreamer on Facebook, my show page. And YouTube, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
That's awesome, buddy. Look forward to seeing it.
And that reminds me, John Ferris will be coming back next week for another live interview. I'm very, very excited because great things are happening with this band.
So looking forward to hearing it.
I thank you for your time. I thank you for your brotherhood. I thank you for your knowledge. I know I learned a lot, and I know that anybody who watches this will learn also if they are open to it.
If they're not and they got their own opinion of it, they're welcome to use it, and they're welcome to discuss it with me. I'm not a hard man to find. If you don't agree with what I say, you're welcome to challenge me on it. I may not always be right. But you know what? As for today, it's been an awesome opportunity to hang with the Dreamer, and I thank you for it.
Oh, my pleasure. My honor, sir. And I hope to see you again.
Can count on it.
I do. I hope to see you again.
Oh, in the new year, well, I'm sure we'll have more news to talk about as in regards to progress with the station, and I'd love to keep you updated on that. So,
well, thank you kindly, sir. Everybody, support the links that'll be in the description box of this interview. Follow Creation Station. Any questions? Email, contact Bill. Right there. That's it. That's it. Check out his one-stop shop that he's building. Support artists, support local artists, support new music, support creators, and most of all, support Creation Station, everyone. Because Creation Station is exactly what this world needs. Thank you so much, Bill. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you for hanging out in Dreamland Studios today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Take care.
Take care.